Welcome back to my channel Conquer the Fear. In this video, we are going to discuss about what is concurrent modification exception, how you can avoid the concurrent modification exception in specifically multi-threaded environment. Now, if you are attending any interview or if you are here on this particular video to enhance your knowledge, you are on the right video because I'm trying to explain you with the help of source code where I'm trying to tell you all the scenarios when it might occur and then what is the solution when you have to deal with it in the multi-threading environment. So wait and watch this video till the end so that you grasp the knowledge and you can crack the interview. Let's first discuss about what is concurrent modification exception. It is a runtime exception that is going to occur when the object is been concurrently modified. Let's say it is been iterated by an iterator. So if a concurrent modification is going to happen in a single threaded environment, it can also happen in a multi-threading environment. Let's say you modify a collection. Okay, let's say you're trying to add, remove elements while iteration. So it is going to throw an concurrent modification exception. Okay, whether you are using iterator or whether you are using enhanced for loop. Okay, now let's discuss the causes in the multi-threading environment. When it comes to multi-threading environment is quite complex. Okay, there are multiple threads trying to access the same resource. They are trying to modify the same resource without having a proper synchronization. The internal state will be in a inconsistent state. So in multi-threading environment, if you see, there is a concept called fail fast mechanism iterators. Now most of the standard Java collections are like ArrayList, HashMap, HashSet. These are called the fail fast iterators. Now what does it mean is that if an underlying structure is modified, let's say some elements are added, removed, or order changed, the iterator which was after the iterator which was created, it will detect that this modification has happened and immediately it will throw a concurrent modification exception. Now in multi-threading environment, one thread is iterating over the list, the second thread is trying to add or remove the element in the same list. Now this iterator will check upon, like, the next method is called up, right? You will notice that there is a mod count change that which is going to track the structural modification, and it has changed unexpectedly, right? So it is going to lead an exception now. So that's where this particular concurrent modification exception happens in, especially in multi-threading environment. Now let me walk you through a example. Now first we'll discuss about the issue which is happening in the multi-threading environment. Okay, we will discuss each line by line what exactly this particular code says about. Okay, now I've defined one class over here, okay, which is concurrent modification problem. I've added some list over there, created an array list. This is a shared list. I'm trying to add some elements over here. Now if you see here, I have created one thread which is going to iterate. A while loop is written over here. If you see here, this is the same list we added over here. Okay, now here if you see, there is something while loop which is running, has next has been running, there is a next but called up, and then I'm trying to make it sleep for some time. Okay, now if you see, make a note here, I am catching the concurrent modification exception and the interrupted exception over here. Now let's go to the modify part. There is a second thread which is going to be called up. Now if you see here, under this particular thing, I'm sleeping it for some time, then I'm adding some element over here. If you see here, this might throw an concurrent modification exception. I'm trying to remove it. This also will throw a concurrent modification exception, and then I am literally starting this particular thread, and this is I'm trying to join them over here. Okay, now what happens is that the shared list, whatever is being accessed by this particular two threads, right? Now iterator is going to get that particular iterator, and then it is going to start the iteration over here. Okay, now what has happened, I'm trying to add a date element over here. Okay, while the shared list is being still in the middle of iterating. Okay, so one thread is iterating, one other thread is trying to add or remove the element. So when the moment it sees that while it's calling the next thread, right? It will throw an exception, okay, that some mod kind will be different, okay, and then it will ultimately throw the exception. Okay, I will try to run this in a debug mode so that you are uh, able to see the exact cause of it. Now before going to this, I will just like to open one array list class just to show you. Okay, now if you see here, there is a co-modification. Check for modification. If you see, there is one method which is there, like it will check for the mod count and the expected mod count. If these are not same, this will throw an exception. Okay, I will just run this, okay, and I will show you. Okay, I think I have to run this particular code right now and debug mode. Now if you see here, this is iterating over here. One by one I'm trying to add it over here. Okay, the thread one has started, it has interrupt, it has started over here, right? Now if you see here, it has joined in. Now if you see, there has been a concurrent modification exception being thrown over here. Okay, see here. Now if you see here, this has come here. If you see, this is getting called over here. The moment it's try to add something, after the addition, it is trying to do the next option, then it will throw a concurrent modification exception over here, and it is throwing here, if you see. Okay, that's where it is getting caught up over here, and then it is printing. Okay, now this is the problem which will solve it. Okay, using the different ways. We discussed what is the exact source code where it causes the problem in the multi-threading environment. Now we are going to look into the solution. So the very first solution what we are going to look into is copy on write array list. Now this is part of the Java util concurrent package. This is one of the thread safe way, an alternative for that particular standard collection we already discussed. Okay, so it is designed like it's to be worked in the concurrent way and to handle your synchronization internally. Okay, so it has got the advanced techniques like optimistic locking, or you have a copy on write mechanism inside it. Okay, so what will happen, the list, the modification what we are doing is rarely compared to the reads over here. So what happens, when copy on write array list, there is a fresh copy created. Okay, for the underlining array, every time there is a modification happening, let's say you're trying to add something, you're trying to remove something, is then there is a modification happening inside in the underlying array. So iterator is going to operate on the snapshot of that array token at the time of the iteration was created, so they won't be affected by the subsequent modification which is happening. So this is one of the efficient way to outnumber this particular there are very efficient way to read and write the numbers over there. Okay, now we'll look into the code over here. Now you see that this is exactly the similar code, just instead of array list we have made use of the concurrent copy on array list, copy on write array list. Now if you see here, this is going to make use of it. Now similar code, everything is same over here, there is nothing changed over here. Okay, the two threads are being run up, same iteration is happening, reading over here, same addition and removement is happening over here. We have started, we have joined it. Okay, let's run this particular code over here. Now you see here, in spite of I catching it over here, the exception over here, okay, there is no concurrent modification happening over here. Okay, so that's the benefit of this. Okay, where there is this is the fail safe iterator or fail safe collection, I would say. Let's discuss about the another collection which is fail safe, which is concurrent hash map. Now you must have heard of hash map. Now this is the concurrency version of hash map, which is concurrent hash map. This has got the segment level locking there, so that you can read n number of times, and then there can be a write which is happening at the segment level. Okay, so you have added advantages when it comes to multi-threading environment is quite thread safe option over here. Now what happens here is that similar to this, whatever the code is written over here is exactly similar. Now only the thing is the iterator is being taken up from the entry side instead of that, and then I'm trying to iterate. Rest everything is same, because we are using dealing with the map over here. So there is a little bit change, but everything after this is same. You see, you are iterating through the map and other things, and then trying to sleep and have this particular thing. Okay, so there is, I will just try to run this code and see if there is a concurrent modification exception happening over here. No, right? So there is nothing being having an exception over here. Okay, so this is the second way where you can deal with it. Okay, now there is another option which I will tell you, that is using the serialization process. Okay, or synchronization block, I would say. Okay, synchronization block. So what happens in this particular thing is that this is one of the manual way where you are trying to synchronize your collection using the synchronized block, or either you can make use of the reentrant lock. However, this approach is have a bottleneck, that is has got a less performance, as it is going to serialize the access. But it is still carefully you can ensure that all accesses and the writes are happening in a proper synchronized way. So this is a manual way to deal with it. Okay, but there might be some problems which lead to an issues, but you have to code it very very properly. Now if you see here, I have taken this particular array list, I have created an object over here, I have iterated this particular thing over here, similar logic over written over there. Then I'm trying to create another thread, I'm trying to modify it and add this, ultimately start and join and things, right? So instead of that, if you see, one thing you know, make a note here, I have created a synchronized block over here. Okay, so this is going to synchronize it, and then but this is the less efficient, as this is going to be a synchronization happening, so there will be a degraded in the performance, but it will achieve the same thing. But this is one of the less recommended, as we have the concurrency package already in place. It is better to use that. Okay, so we have to use that particular, which is have given the better performance, right? Now we'll have another iteration. So let's say there is another approach to solve this. Okay, I will make sure I will explain that as well. The last thing is that let's say if you are trying to read an element and you are not trying to update the old collection, so that you are trying to create a copy of that particular collection and you are trying to iterate over that. So this is going to completely avoid your concurrent modification exception, because you are not trying to update the original things, right? You're trying to iterate on a copy, and then you're trying to modify something on the original. Okay, so here if you see, I have a shared list over here, then I'm trying to create a list of copy. Here if you see, this is under the synchronized copy. So here I am consistently trying to create a copy of it, and then I'm trying to iterate over it, the list of the copy over here. Now make sure you get this point. Okay, so here also in the second thread there is a synchronized written over here, but if you see, I'm trying to call the or modify the original list, making use of the shared list over. Okay, so that's what I'm trying to do here. Okay, let's run this particular code and show you. Now you see here, there is no concurrent modification exception happening. That's all. I think I have explained all the possible solution to it. I hope this particular video was very helpful to you. Please don't forget to like, subscribe and hit the bell icon. Thank you for watching.